So the 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic Event 1 Max Squat is now done and in the books, and oh, what an event it was. Did anybody hit 1,000 pounds? That is the main question. Let's have a look at the results and detailed analysis. So starting off, I had predicted 1 point for Luke Stoltman. He does come away with 1 point, ends up doing 370 kilos. So I got all the details for you. He went second in the order, opened up at 751 pounds. He does get it. He was looking way more comfortable than on his opener than either Maxime or Tom did at this same weight. So Luke looking more comfortable there. He and his brother have the same coach, so that guy is really working hard to get their knee wraps done. The knee wrapping did slow down the pace quite a bit, I would say. There's a lot of knee wrapping happening. For strongman, they're allowed 2.5 meter knee wraps, which is greater than apparently the 2 meter knee wraps allowed for powerlifting, because these are bigger, big, thick guys. So they are allowed the longer knee wraps. So that being said, it was a smooth lift all the way through for that first lift. Those knee wraps made it hard for these guys to even get up out of the chair. People were helping them to stand up. They were so tight and stiff. Laz, who was one of the commentators, again, awesome to see Big Laz as the commentator, he said there are 5 first-timers in this contest, actually, both Stultmans, Maxime, Evgeny Markov, and Trey Mitchell. So for his second lift, Luke Stulman went 7th in the order with 816 pounds to match Tom and Maxime at that point. And then for his third lift, he went 20th. So the way that this works, for those who aren't aware, you have a lifter attempt to squat. They pick a weight that they think is competitive, right? And they try to either pace themselves so that throughout their 3 lifts, they can successfully hit them all, or they try to make it tougher on the lifter to come. So the weight never goes down. You either have to match the highest weight already lifted or up the ante from there. And so that's basically how it works. So he went 20th in the order for his third lift. He had to match or go up from Bobby Thompson, as I said. So at that point, he went for 906, which was a huge jump up from his 816. Still no JF, by the way. By the time Luke Stoltman went 3 times, JF had not gone once, so amazing. Luke stops at the bottom, starts driving, looking good, and then can't get past that sticking point. Bad news, because it makes him drop all the way back down to 816 pounds, his second lift. But again, not so sure how much of that can be helped, because you decide what your weight is, and it can't be lower than the guy before you. So it's a bit of a strategy, and it's a bit of sticking to what the rules are. Next up, 2 points went to Evgeny Markov, who I thought would do marginally better here, but not great. He went 8th with his opener at 821 pounds. Mentioned on the telecast, he's 7 times Russia's strongest man. He got it at 821, but oh, what a fight to get it. I thought the pads were a bit too low for him. He went, I thought, further than the 90-degree parallel to get down, was down at the bottom for quite a bit, really had to fight it, and then ended up going 15th in the order again for a second lift, attempted 866, because you have to kind of match the previous one, or if you want to win, beat it by 5 pounds, I think, is what the pattern seemed. So this is the first time in the contest that Luke wasn't right after Tom, so perhaps Luke feeling a little bit more froggy, so to speak, a little more confident, but again, on the second lift, it looked like the pads were just a couple inches too deep for Evgeny. Cannot get back up out of the hole. 3 points go to Trey Mitchell, who I thought would do much better here, but did a good weight. It's just that, again, the way that the rules work and the strategy has a big bearing. And Laz said that he heard Trey Mitchell, when speaking to him before the contest, he's coming in with a couple of maybe minor injuries, so that might have hindered him as well. But he went 3rd in the order. I thought maybe that the guy that looked like he was with him maybe looked like Steve Schmidt, not the guy rapping him, but the other guy. And I love Steve Schmidt, a good friend of the show. So maybe it was him. Trey opens up at 771. He was wrapped with a bent leg, and Laz made a big kind of deal about his wrapper maybe not being as experienced, because you always wrap the leg straight, so it's as tight as it can be. He was getting wrapped with a bent leg, and each wrap was going in a different direction. So Laz also, I didn't know this, but Laz was saying you don't wrap in toward the center of the body, because it pulls the patella inward and can cause big problems. But a good lift anyway. He then went again 9th in the order for a second lift, 826 pounds there, slow and steady, but smooth, and he gets it. And then he went again 12th in the order. His third lift was at 856 pounds. And, he bobbled the pick a little bit, which was weird. So it's one of those apparatuses. It was a whole hydraulic thing, like a really great piece of equipment, honestly. The loaders didn't have to work so hard. And he kind of bobbled it a bit on the pick, put it back on the hooks, and then, Laz was saying, and I thought as well, he probably should have taken a rest, but he went right back at it again, got it anyway, and didn't take long to readjust, but he did get it. 856, those are the 3 lifts for Trey Mitchell. 3 points for him. 4.5 points go to Tom Stoltman, who does slightly better than I thought he would do. Went first in the order, opened at 751. He used knee wraps and the super suit like most of the guys did, if not all of them. Laz says that squats usually suit athletes with shorter femurs, so he's always coming in with these great insights that some of us aren't aware of. It was an easy lift for Tom, but small knee buckle at the bottom. And Tom went again 6th in the order for his second attempt. That was at 816 pounds. He went after Maxime, had already hit it for an opener, got slowed down about halfway up, but maybe due to his height, slowing him down a bit, but he did get it after a mild fight, so not too hard for him. Then Tom went again 14th in the order for his third and final lift, got it, finished off strong. Laz says maybe it's a PR for him, and comes away with 4.5 points. 4.5 points get split with Maxime Boudreau, so right around exactly where I had predicted him to be. He went 5th in the order, opened up at 816 pounds, as we mentioned. Sam Beliveau was with him, wrapping him, so you want to have somebody trustworthy doing your wrapping, as did Maxime. She gave him a proper back slap before his first squat, so he was fairly smooth with a slight struggle near the top, but got that 816. His face looked like there was a lot of struggle, but maybe Laz says he was getting his bracing correct, so, the smoothness of the lift didn't look that hard for him. Then he goes again 13th in the order for his second lift at 861 now. He slowed way down halfway up, but look at the confidence of Maxime Boudreau. Let out a big roar as he powered through it. It's like he slowed down and we all thought, is he going to get it? And he's like, let me just let them know I'm good. And it just powers right through it. And that was wonderful. And then, of course, goes 17th in the order for his third lift. He's up to 886 now to tie Novikov, who had already gone. I couldn't get up past that sticking point, though, so Maxime Boudreau walks away with 4.5 points. 6 points go to Alexei Novikov, who we just mentioned, so he went 4th in the order. It looked like Jerry Pritchett was there coaching him or maybe helping him with his wrapping or whatnot, so really cool to see Jerry Pritchett showing his support. This is Alexei's third appearance at the Arnolds. He opens up with 801 pounds, and he looks very determined, like super psyched up and determined. He has the slightest pause at the very top, but fairly easy with his opener at 801. Then goes 16th in the order, so a lot of guys went in between Alexei's first and second attempts. Second lift was 886. I thought at this point, I think I see Ken McClelland as a loader, which is freaking awesome. He's legendary in the strongman community. Alexei has a slight right knee buckle at the bottom, but it's still very easy for him. He's so hyped up and really playing to the crowd and playing into all that positive energy, especially amidst everything that's going on in his home country. I'm sure, he just wants a good day, a good 2 days, and that's what we want for him as well. So then he goes 21st in the order with his third lift at 911 pounds, but then he changes his mind right at the last second and decides to go for 906 instead of 911. I felt this was a weird choice given it's his last lift, and it's only 5 pounds apart. If you could do one of those, you can do the other one. But he had a little bit of a rounded back halfway up, but he powers through it. He had that slight sticking point, but not too much trouble there. I thought he could have gotten the 911. But 6 points for Alexei Novikov. 7 points go to Bobby Thompson. So Bobby Thompson, again, is in for Mateusz Kieliszkowski, who could not compete. Bobby went 10th in the order, so he waited a long time to make his first lift. Opens up at 831 pounds. And as I said here, good grief, that looked easy. He even did a pause at the bottom. He could have done a bunch of reps with that weight for sure. Bobby then goes 19th in the order with his second lift to match Martin's Lissi's at 901 pounds. It even looked a little easier than Martin's 901 at this point, so I thought he was hunched over with pain after they were done, so they had the camera kind of just on his upper body, so it looked like he was hunched over and they were holding him, and then it turns out when the camera pans out that they were just getting his knee wraps off for him. So, pretty cool. And then he goes 25th in the order with his third lift at 946 pounds. Laz says Bobby thinks he can get it and Martin's is done, so Bobby's back starting to round out on the top 1/3, but he works through it, gets the lift. Then he shouts, "Thank you, Mateus," like into the crowd, basically for giving him this opportunity to get in and show what he can do. Laz and the other commentator says this looked easier than his second lift. I disagree. I think the second lift looked easier, but Bobby finishes strong, 7 points. 8 points go to Martins Litzis. So Martins went 18th in the order with his first lift. All those attempts before he even got in at all. Only I think only JF Caron waited longer to get in, but his first lift was at 9:01. Seems like he has labored breathing. So just walking up to the apparatus away, it just seems like his breathing's really labored. So I said here he does look quite huge. So I don't know if the weight's affecting his breathing, but he went to the ammonia. The ammonia seemed like it almost made him cry. It was a spectacle to watch, honestly. But pretty comfortable lift, though, despite all that stuff. The lift was very comfortable for him. He went again 24th in the order at 941 pounds, only 5 pounds above Rob Kearney at that point. It was hard for him, but he got it, and that goes back to what I said earlier, where Laz thought Bobby kind of had his number, like that's all Martins had. But Martins goes again at 956 pounds for his third lift and gets that one too. Slow and steady, did a touch and go, no pause at the bottom. It was a hard, but no problems. He maybe even had a few more pounds in the tank. 9 points go to Rob Kearney. So Rob went 11th in the order, opens at 856 pounds. There's a lot going on here. So he went down really slow, like super slow, like it was training, not a competition. He seemed to momentarily sit at the bottom, like on the pads, and then a minor bounce, like Laz called it a double dip, and then gets back up without too much trouble. So I don't know what all the different movements were on the way down, but it didn't seem too hard for him. Then he goes all the way to 23rd in the order, so a lot of guys between Rob's first and second attempts, 936 pounds this time. He did a strong core brace. You could see he was really focusing on that. And slow through the stand-up, but steady and gets it. He looks like still a little bit more in the tank, I said here, like Instagram. So he seemed close to his Instagram lift here. And that did come true because he went 28th in the order for his third lift, 961 pounds, and was a huge lift. I thought JF wouldn't have to do all three of his lifts to win, but he did because Rob did this. So Rob Kearney, 961 pounds, 9 points for him. And then we have our winner, JF Caron, who put on an absolute spectacle. All three lifts easy. He needed 966 pounds to win, and that's what he did, but he had way more in the tank. He could have done reps with 966 pounds. He said later on that he was very confident. He had done over 1,000 in the gym, and he was well prepared to do well over 1,000 here today if he had to. Didn't have to. So he went 22nd in the order for his first lift. Like, he waited all that time to even attempt one time. His first lift was 9... Ooh, I didn't write it down. Low 900s, because the second lift was 951. Commentators called it seriously incredible. 951 pounds should not move that easily, says Laz. Almost as fast as the first one, and the third one was almost as fast as the second one. It was unbelievable. He was solid and smooth, no shifting at the bottom. That third lift, as I said, only needed 966 to win, and that's what he did, but smooth and fast again. Just the speed with which he was moving a weight this close to 1,000 pounds was absolutely astounding. And yeah, just holy cow. I wonder how much more he could have done. And then the other thing I noticed was Frederick Rayom is with him, so that was pretty cool as well. So that's how the squat for max shook out at the 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic. I hope you enjoyed this detailed results and detailed breakdown of everything that happened, every movement that happened on every single lift of every single attempt at the 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic Squat for Max. We'll join you back after event number 2 is over, and of course, until then, ciao, homie.